Salute to the orators, the inspirers, the cerebral navigators, thought provokers, mic hustlers, and those who catalyze paradigm shifts in our intellectual atmosphere. You are currently engaged with one of the most distinguished auditory platforms in the digital realm. We transcend traditional expectations, delving deep into discourse pertaining to the art of oratory eloquence. Our objective? To imbue even the most diffident among us with the audacity, tenacity, and unwavering determination to level up your lexicon with the linguistic artillery necessary to dissect reality with surgical precision, to kill the stage and use your gift as a paintbrush, creating a tableau of vibrant hues and stark contrast with the mic. Remember this, you are an orator, capable of becoming the paragon of eloquence and persuasion in this world. Welcome to the Speakers Roundtable, powered by Authentically Real. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Yo, what up though? Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy Big Kev, and we got a legend, a luminary for the ages, and he's in the building, y'all. It is with great honor and reverence that I introduce a figure of remarkable distinction in the realm of music, spiritual leadership, and oratory prowess. This brother, having commenced his illustrious career with the notable production of tracks for the critically acclaimed soundtrack for the famed and celebrated DJ Screw documentary, this king swiftly ascended to the pinnacle of the music industry by earning a RIA Platinum certification with the world-renowned artist Lil Flip, who dropped club bangers like Sunshine, Game Over, You Gotta Feel Me, and The Way We Ball. However, his journey transcends the realm of music. In 2003, he underwent a profound personal transformation, dedicating his life to a higher calling and subsequently entering the ministry. This brother then hit the H-Town airways hard with his radio ministry on 94.5 The Beat. His oeuvre of gospel rap encompasses notable projects such as Welcome to My Life and Keeping It 100, manifesting his seamless fusion of artistic endeavor and spiritual enlightenment. His contributions to society extend to the literary domain with the publication of his seminal work, Inspiration for Your Soul, and his relentless commitment to community engagement is evident in his establishment of the Word on the Street outreach ministry and his accolade as Hip Hop Artist of the Year by the Music Association of Central Texas. Most recently, in 2003, he has made an indelible mark in the film and social content arena with his amazing self-directed film and produced documentary, Lost and Found, available on YouTube, and continues to elevate the discourse on digital civility through his initiatives on social media etiquette. It is truly a privilege to welcome to the SRT podcast family such an erudite and multifaceted individual, the one and only Houston. Make some noise for the godson, Minister Slugger. What's up, big bro?
Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, if I may, man, I got to make a correction. I'm from Marlin, Texas.
Arlen, Texas. I'm sitting here talking. Hey, Jay. I thought he was from H-Town, fam.
Nah, man, he from Marlin, Texas, but H-Town know him.
H-Town know him. He made some noise in H-Town.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So how you doing? How you doing, big bro?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. Just glad to be on here with you brothers.
Absolutely, man. This is a first for us. We're so happy to have you here, Jay. I'm trying to figure out how you doing today, bro. I know we talked it up earlier.
Let me tell you something. I'm ecstatically joyful. Let me put it like that, because man, when I tell you, the guest we have on today, he ain't just a friend.
Yeah,
he my brother.
That's it.
When I tell you, day one, we've been rocking, and man, I get some goosebumps when I talk about this brother. I dedicated
conversations.
Man. This brother here is one of the most pivotal individuals that God blessed to be in my life. And I wanted to share him with the rest of the world that God has blessed me to be a part of. because he's done the same thing for me. And I definitely wanted him to meet Big Kev. Let me tell you, it's about to be a journey. These next 45 minutes is about to be off the chain. Let me tell you.
Man. I know we've been anticipating this all day, and trying to get everything situated for the last week, knowing that we was gonna have this interview coming up. Man, I'm super excited, bro. We really have been frothing at the mouth, at the bit, to get you on here and finally get our get through our first preliminary shows with just me and Jay, just hashing that out, man. But bro, welcome to the platform, man. Before we get started, I absolutely want to say thank you to God for allowing us to be able to build this platform. What we're trying to do, man, is really just touch the people out there who want to be speakers, who are aspiring to be speakers, who are speakers, who might be in the coaching or school speaking atmosphere, whatever. So you fit right in perfectly to have this conversation. We don't like to say that we're doing interviews, we're doing a conversation. So let's go and jump into it, man. I have a plethora of questions, but I'm not gonna be able to pelt you with all of them. But I had the honor of sitting down and watching the entire documentary that you shot, man. And because I'm a content creator, I love film. I love the whole science behind shooting film and interviews, bro. You did a fantastic job. And I wanted to ask you because I know you was in the music industry. My first question to you is, how did producing tracks for DJ Screw's documentary influence your perception on hip hop, on the entire hip hop industry?
I would say producing on that documentary, it didn't necessarily like influence, have an influence, my perception on hip hop, because prior to that, what influenced my perception on hip hop was when I was introduced to Dr. Dre. When I was introduced to Dr. Dre's production, that's when I fell in love with, I would say, the production side of hip hop.
Gotcha.
And so in '96, my senior year in high school, I've always been in a band, since junior high. And I always had like a knack for drums, any type of sound. And so my senior year of high school is when I started taking music seriously. And like I said, I took an interest into producing beats. Dr. Dre being the catalyst for that. And once I started tinkering around on the keyboard and the piano, then it grew from there. And so my mom took a leap of faith and invested in me my first professional keyboard, which was I think it was a Korg Trinity at that time. And so I began to put tracks together, and man, it just grew from there. I started off producing tracks for local rap cats, around my way that were known. And I would say locally, my first break for getting myself known and my beats known, I produced for this group called DSD out of Waco, Texas. Because they were a known local rap group back then. So when I hooked up with those cats, then it spread from there. And then later on, a good friend of mine, me and him, we hooked up, Matthew Ford. Then this other cat, we call him Hot Rod. So they approached me about getting together and forming a studio. So we put together a studio there in Waco, Texas. And from there, we formed a group called Stay Down. And when we formed the group Stay Down, we started recording out of Houston, Texas after we shut down our studio. Because I'm going to be honest with you, man, that studio was just, it was not a place of business. It was more like a party spot. We recorded some music there, but we did more wild than that than what we did business. And so
understood, bro.
And so we were influenced by the Houston, Texas sound, the screwed up click, DJ Screw, cats like that. And so once we started working on the album, my partner Matt, he was like, "Man, I want to get C Note to feature. I want to get Big Pokey to do a feature for us. I want to get a little Flipper, so on and so forth." And so we started, going back and forth to Houston, recording with those cats. And every time we would go in the studio, they would be like, "Hey man, who did that beat?" And I would tell them, that I produced the track, and that's where I started, making my connections at right there. So I know I went the long way, but that's where my love for hip hop really began.
Hey man, it's all about you tonight, brother. It's all about you. Really we want the world to know about you, so you take what you need, man. And let me ask this question before Kev dive off into something else, man. How was it getting the chance to produce something for Little Flip, man? What came through your heart, mind, and spirit when that opportunity came, bro?
Man, as a young producer, I was probably around that time, I would say 22, 23, somewhere around there. So getting that opportunity, bro, I mean, I was stoked. Facts. I mean, I was, I mean, because he had an album at that time called The Leprechaun. And so that was his song that he had that was real hot called I Can Do That. And so just knowing that this cat was a hot item at that time, and then getting the opportunity to produce some tracks for him, man, hey, that feeling there, that was life changing for me at the time. So I thought it was.
that had to been fire. Hey Jay, I was thinking about that when I watched his documentary. I was like, yo, it ain't that I ain't been around a lot of celebrities. Like when I was in high school, or not high school, middle school, when I lived in Germany, we lived in Germany for like 13 years. And I had this in my book when we ended up going to Grafenwehr, which was one of the largest tactical bases in Europe, right? For like your M1 Abrams, for your arms, those heavy artillery brigades. And we went there, man. We was in the gym. It was a closed gym. It was probably like 10 teams from all over Germany, and we sitting in a room. They locked us in. We was a bunch of kids, man. We 12 years old, running around, sock hopping and playing around. We playing dodgeball in the gym with the basketballs, whatever. And they was like, go to bed. Well, one team was late. They were supposed to come back, and when they come through, but it was gonna show up in the morning. And all of a sudden, man, maybe about an hour later, they came in. This little kid came over to me. He was like, y'all about to get smashed. And this was back then. And we was like, how you gonna just say y'all gonna beat us? You ain't even been here, bro. When we look, man, this dude came walking into the room, and he had a duck to get in the room. And man, all the coaches just stopped. Room went dead silent. And we looked, this dude was the tallest brother I have ever seen in my life. Come to find out, when we was talking to him, like, what's your name? He said, my name is Shaq, or Shaquille. He said, my name is Shaquille. And we couldn't even pronounce it. We ain't know nothing. This dude, the Shaquille O'Neal, his dad was in the military, and this is the first time I ever met him. And then afterwards, when we come back to the United States, and I was like, yo, man, I knew a celebrity when I was a kid. I didn't know he was gonna be that big. And then to have Minister Slugger on here, knowing that he was, he produced for a world-renowned rapper like that has some really heavy bangers that we used to rock out to. Yeah, I wanted to ask him what you just asked him, but man, I'm sitting here tripping like because I know a lot of people, Minister Slugger is in this. They caught in between this wash right now between what should they be listening to hip hop music, and now you got a lot of people that's in the gospel sector of music, and now they mixing they music with hip hop, and it almost sound like there's no difference. What you think about that? Like it's almost like the lines the lines have been convoluted so bad, like you can't tell if you listen to the drill music from the shot until you hear somebody say Jesus. Then you be like, okay, that must be gospel. What you think? How you feel about that?
Well, to me, man, it's more about the content than what it is about the beats and all that there. Because I'm a firm believer, man, you know, that because I use unconventional methods or means in order to get my message across.
Yeah.
And so I'm not against you know, being hip or, you know, doing what you got to do to reach the lost. And I don't mind stepping outside of the box just as long as you don't step outside of God. And
Come
so,
on,
and
man.
I think that's where the lines sometimes get blurred. It's not so much as that when we say that the music sounds the same, there's nothing wrong with having like a catchy beat or a catchy hook or anything like that. But for gospel artists, you got to have that content of what's going to draw them to Jesus, what's going to draw them to God. You know, we got to have a message of hope. And so our music, the beat wise, can sound like them, but our lyrical content definitely there has to be a distinct difference.
Yeah. Talk, man.
That's real.
Just you ever wonder like about like the rhythm of music? How that does that have an actual effect uh on us, on our mentality, on our own psychology, like how we think, how we move. And I'm hearing a lot of people, you know, saying that the hip hop music is rigged, like they really put these particular 808s and these particular beats. I wanted to ask him about that because I've just been personally honest. I've been curious about is that real? Is that just fluff?
Are you
I,
asking me?
No,
No,
well,
no,
I was
you
just
asking
saying,
Slug.
have you ever
Go ahead,
thought about
Slug.
that? But I'm about to
Oh yeah.
ask him.
I mean, you know, being on the production side of music, I've never witnessed anything like that, or I can't say, you know, I've ever participated in anything like that. Again, to me, it's more about the lyrics
Yeah.
because when you think about, um, let's say, you know, we know that music has a strong influence.
Absolutely.
So
Right.
music can either influence you to do something bad or it can influence you to do something good. And music is mood altering. You know,
Yeah.
if you know back in the day, you know, if I wanted to get crunk before I went to the club, I was gonna put on some Lil Jon or somebody like that was gonna get me hype. You know, but to say that the music itself, you know, I don't know. You know, like I say, to me, man, you know, I think the emphasis should be more on the lyrics itself because the lyrics are that's where your influence is coming from,
Right.
and not
Yeah.
necessarily, you know, the music itself, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
No, it
Yeah.
absolutely
It makes
does,
a
bro.
lot of sense. Look,
Because the
let me
power
let
of
me
life and death is in the tongue.
come
Absolutely.
on, that part. Let me say this, man. Let me say this. And I agree with what you said, Minister Slug, and I also like the question you posed, Kev, because the thought. Let me tell you like this. Us as black people, I'm gonna just keep it 100. Hey, I ain't trying to miss nobody and I ain't trying to hit nobody. I'm just putting it out here. The world loves our music and rhythm.
Yeah.
From Africa to the rest of the world, they cannot understand nothing Dre saying or Slugger saying, but if that beat is hitting, bro,
It's
we
on.
can produce like no other. And
Yes,
it's
sir.
not because the machine
Yeah.
is doing it, it's the rhythm that's on the inside of us. That's just 100. They want to dance like us. They want to sing like us. They want to move like us. Why? We've been created, man, to create certain things. And I like what Minister Slugger said. Music is mood altering.
It is.
Some music have populated the world.
Hmm.
This is true.
It's
This is true.
populated the world. That made
Right.
families bigger. And then some music have caused people to just cry and think about what was going on in their life when grandma passed away,
Right.
pawpaw passed away. And then there's some people, like my man said, he put something on when he want to get fired up before he go to the club. That's what we do. So now I think, not to get too deep, I think we'll get off in this a little bit. Now we
Yeah.
get to the spirit of things.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That part.
And I'm gonna let that marinate
That's a
right
good
there.
segue.
Now we get into the spirit of things,
Yeah.
and if you look at this, uh, this resume here, you can see the transition of where he come from and where he's going. Music is still a part of it. It's still part of the media and the ministry. And I think that's a good way to segue into the shift.
Yeah.
What caused the shift from doing secular to moving over into doing gospel?
Yeah.
What caused that shift, my brother?
No, hold on, because I want to add to your question. It's not actually a question. It's just a topic. I think I would like to find out, because I know that you have an outreach in the community, Minister Slugger. So I'm not sure how many kids is going to see this, but if they do, and they do get, and there are some youth that get to watch your documentary. I know you had 2 teachers on there, and they spoke about something that was that really touched me, because I went through the same ideations at one point, and now that we post COVID and all these different things, I know that you found your solace in music, and you transitioned and heard your calling from God, and gave your life to Christ, and started moving down that path. For somebody, for some young man, some young woman that may be going through these suicidal ideations, they may feel like they want to hurt themselves or do whatever, and they just can't find their voice. I really want to talk about what really was it that made you say, you know what, I'm done with this. I really want to. I'm going to give my life. You know, I know you was in the club that night and you heard that, but talk to these youth that really are into the music, but don't they hiding behind the music, but in all actuality, they still have something that's causing them to feel like they not worthy to live. And how can we reach them on a deeper level?
Well, for me, what caused the shift in my life was the fact that um, it got to a point to where my soul, my peace was just disturbed. It got to a point to where I just had this void that just couldn't be fulfilled with what I was doing at that time. Now you have to understand that to produce for known rappers, to do some of the things that I was doing, that was a lifelong dream of mine.
Yeah.
And to finally be able to do that and still not have fulfillment, I knew that there was a deeper issue that was going on. It had been prophesied to me that God was calling me into the ministry, but I was rebellious at that time, and then I was like, well, man, no, y'all got the wrong somebody. No, that ain't what God calling me to do.
The wrong somebody.
You got the wrong somebody.
Hey, what do do the approach? Is this what you said?
No.
Yeah, you got the wrong somebody, man. So after a few years later of having that prophecy, and then this lady, she was a spiritual mother of mine, and I never will forget, man. She pulled me out to the side after a church service one Sunday, because no matter how much wrong I did, I was out there in the streets, I was doing what I was doing, I always stayed close to the fire. If you get what I'm saying. And so after this one particular Sunday, man, they had, chased me around the church, put oil on me, and was saying, God was calling me to preach. And my spiritual mother, she says, baby, when God get ready, you will know.
Yeah.
She said, and you're gonna know without a shadow of a doubt. Well, fast forward some years later, and it became clear to me that was the direction that God was leading me in.
Yeah.
And when I did get that confirmation, I resisted it. I did not want to do that, because again, I had my own idea of what I wanted my life to be like, and ministry was nowhere in the picture.
It wasn't even it.
It just wasn't even in it, man. And so God got my attention when I produced Lil Flip get signed to Sony, his first major deal. He had just dropped the Underground Legend album. I found out one of my tracks is going on that album. The album goes gold, then it goes platinum. And I just know, like, hey, I'm on my way up. But instead of going up, I went down.
Wow.
And I knew deep down in my heart, I knew it was because I was running from God's calling on my life.
Man.
And so when I finally hit that ceiling of this is as far as I can go, and I knew what God was wanting from me, that's when I said, you know what, I give up, I surrender. Because you gotta understand something, music was my first love. And so God got my attention through something that I loved. And so God will make it plain and clear to you in a way, oftentimes through something that you love, or something in a way that you just can't miss it. And so, like I say, man, my spirit, man, was just void. No matter what I did at that time, I just didn't have peace. I fell into a depression, man, and I just got to the point to where I was like, you know, Lord, I'm tired. And then I used to be a heavy drinker too. When it got to the point to where I could no longer get a buzz, drinking was no longer enjoyable. I said, you know what? That's it.
Yeah. Hey, look, wow. Hey, Minister Slugger, I gotta ask you this because I ain't never been to Texas. I don't know what. Hey, Big J, I don't know what no syrup is and nothing, bro. What in the? Hey, you feel me? Hey,
he from Cincinnati, Ohio, Minister Slugger.
Bro,
he from Cincinnati, Ohio. He don't know what that syrup is.
I don't know nothing about no syrup. My man was like, yo, he was hitting that syrup. He couldn't even hold his head. I was like, yo, what is syrup? You gotta break. You educate your boy, man, because I have no idea what that is. I have no clue.
What Texas got their own thing, bro.
Man, Texas different, bro. That's a whole different country, bro. That's not even a state.
Man, all I can tell you, bro, is go and listen to some Big Mo, or go and listen to some of the screwed up click artists, and you will get educated real quick on what syrup is. But lean, yeah. But long story,
that's what they call it, lean, yeah.
Yeah. But long story short, man, it's cough medicine with codeine, but it's a specific kind of cough medicine. And so I ain't gonna talk too much because as they say on the streets, the game is to be sold, not to be told.
I feel that. Hey, man, hey, Jesse, he had me weak when he said he was in the he went to the church and they was chasing him down with that oil. I said, yo.
Yeah.
Got him. They was getting him with that oil, bro. Hey, that's amazing. Listen, man, I love your story. I love the whole transition aspect, how you what you went through. Guys, if y'all have, whoever's watching this or listening to this, man, please, if you have not seen this brother's documentary, I'm going to have a link to his documentary in the comments below. I'll have it in the show notes. You have to watch that. That is such a powerful presentation of transition. You know, from the dark side, and how this man did his your shadow work. How you did your shadow work to get to where you are today, and like you went cold turkey. Like you wasn't playing around with it. You literally went cold turkey, and got into the speaker.
Well, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go for it.
I went. The reason why I was able to go cold turkey, because when you reach the point of being sick and tired of being sick and tired,
that's it.
See, don't nobody have to tell you what you need to do. You know what you need to do because you're tired of doing the things that you were doing, and you realize that these things aren't getting you anywhere. And so when I came to God, man, I came with my hands like literally like in full surrender mode. Because, like I say, I knew what God wanted from me. And then the fact that I just got tired of not having no peace. It's something about, man, when you start disturbing a man's peace, you can get his attention real quick, man.
That's a fact.
And so, but I will like to say this here too. Now, I came cold. There were some things that like I cut off cold turkey. But there were some things in the process of my journey that didn't just come off immediately. I was healed as I went. You know, it was a process. And it wasn't an overnight process, but like you said, I had to do some shadow work along the way also. And when I realized that, hey, I still got some residue on me from my past, that, oh, I thought I was healed from this, but I hadn't been quite healed from this right here. And so I had to address this stuff.
And you addressed that before you got to the pulpit, before you started speaking, or was there an era or a portion of your life where you was called, you was called, and when you in December, I think you said December was your first sermon.
Yeah.
Like, do you think that you still had some residue from your past on you still that you had to deal with before?
Definitely,
yeah.
Definitely, bro. Because here's the thing: anybody who say that they came to God and they, everything was just fixed immediately, they lie.
Lying.
They lying. Because like I say, man, I mean, it is a process. There were some things that took place prior to me answering that call, but bro, I had to come as I was. Literally. And see, I've always heard that come as you are meant come as you are in your church clothes.
In your clothes, yeah. Yep.
No, bro. God is talking about come in that mess that you're in, come in that shape that you're in, come in that trauma that you're dealing with, come in that depression that you're dealing with, come in the fact that you got other women on the side and you're doing the fornication, like all of these things that we don't want to talk about, And so I had to come as I was, bro, because the timing to everything, there's a time and a season for every purpose under heaven. Absolutely. And so that was my time, that an opportunity that I couldn't miss. All those years I ran, but I knew at that particular time I had to come. I wasn't ready to come, but God was ready for me to come.
Man.
And this is why a lot of people don't give their life to God or are afraid to give their life to God, because they feel like they got to be perfect when they come to God. No, you don't. It's just like saying, well, I have this wound and I know I got this cut. I'm gonna go to the hospital, but first I'm gonna clean the wound first and then go to the hospital. No, you go to the hospital to get the wound cleansed. You don't get it healed. And that's the same way it is with coming to God. You can't fix yourself before you come to him. You come to him and allow him to do what you can't do. And that's what I had to do, bro. Like straight up, man.
Just, you remember we was talking about Gideon, in the 300 and all of these. We had that conversation the other day. And man, when I'm listening to this brother talk, man, this whole thing is coming like God don't care about your talent. He only looks at your character. He knows he can just, you know what I'm saying? And bro, when he said he had to just give up, bro. I'm thinking about that conversation that we had about Gideon and the 300. And man, that whole, I've read that story on so many occasions where he had the 300 that actually stuck their hand in the water, scooped the water and brought it to their mouth. And God was like, yo, that's the ones I'm going to use. And what he just said was so pivotal, because it's like, them brothers had to put their weapons down. They had to get their hand in that water, and that them bringing that water to their mouth represented not only was they emptying themselves out of all their carnal stuff that they thought God could use, but they was cleansing themselves at the same time. And when Minister Slugger said, he was like, yo, I'm just coming in, I'm just giving it to God, and I knew I couldn't run no more, I couldn't use none of this other stuff. Yo, God can use you when you lay down your own weapons, when you lay down the idea that I got to get clean first before I come to him. You lay down the idea that I got to stop. Let me stop smoking first let me stop drinking the lean first before I come. Let me stop running the streets and hitting the club. Let me stop snorting the lines first before I come. Let me do all of this. And they think the pre-work of the shadow work, Jesse, is that you got to do all this extra stuff before you come in for him to actually take control of you. And Minister Slugger literally just laid it out there. Yo, I was just like, yo, I'm laying all my stuff down. I'm just coming straight in, bro.
Yeah,
Well,
because oftentimes I get people that
Mhm.
know me. They one of the questions I would get all the time was, "Man, what made you want to become a preacher?" And the answer is, "I didn't choose this; it chose me."
It chose me.
Come on, man, right there. Say it again, bro.
Yeah.
I did not choose. It's just like when Peter was out there on the boat fishing. Peter was just minding his own business. He didn't choose Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus chose him.
Jesus
Matter of
chose
fact,
him.
none of the disciples, they didn't choose Jesus first. Jesus chose them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And get this, they all had issues.
they all
Issues.
had issues.
But
And man,
Jesus said,
ooh.
"Follow me."
Yeah.
And they followed Jesus' command and followed him. That's why, if you notice throughout scripture, whether we're talking about Jeremiah, Isaiah, we're talking about Peter, when they had an encounter with God, they will always respond to God, respond to the call by identifying their issue. I'm a man of unclean lips, and I dwell amongst people with unclean lips.
Yeah.
And Peter told Jesus, "Depart from me, from I'm a sinful man."
I'm a sinful man.
That's because we all recognize that in the presence of God, we fall short.
Come on.
But God,
Man.
in his infinite grace and mercy, says, "I still want you."
I still want you.
And when I look in my life at that time, bro, I could not figure out what did God want with me.
Yeah.
You could have chosen anybody.
Anybody.
You could, because I felt like that if you call me, I'm gonna mess this thing up.
Right.
Because I know me.
Yeah.
You know,
Man.
and but it's just something, it's just humbling to know that we serve a God who doesn't require us to have it all together. The only thing that he wants us to do is to be all in with him.
That's it.
Just give. I'll cleanse you as you go along. You know, when we look through our scripture, when I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I can't remember if it was some lepers that he had healed, and the Bible says that, as they went, they were healed.
Yeah.
Come on, as
When
they went.
what
Keyword.
you
As
had
they went.
Bro,
some,
when we talk, Jesse, when we talk about them lepers this morning, bro, you right in. We was talking about them this morning.
Yeah,
so
as they
so you
went, bro.
so you had some that were healed immediately,
Yeah.
but some were healed
Yes.
as they went.
As they went.
And so, as we're talking about this subject, man, on this subject, I believe, man, that God wants someone out there to know that, listen, you're tripping on the fact that you still don't have it all together in some areas.
Talk to him,
Talk to
Slug.
him.
God knows that.
Yeah.
Only thing he wants you to do is to keep surrendering to him.
Yeah.
He knows the issues that you have.
Yeah.
And as you keep surrendering to him with your faith and keep selling out to him, then he's going to take care of those areas of your life that he knows need cleansing.
Yes. Yes.
They were healed as they went.
As they went. Man, that
Man,
is so
as they
good.
went.
That is so good. That is so good, man. Jesse, we was talking about this morning. Bro, you have hit so many dope spots with that, especially, and I love the fact that you did that, because there's a lot of people in the speaking industry that think they are still holding on to their gift, and they're not really to launch out there because they don't see themselves as God sees them. Like you said, I was just like, I'm like, yo, you could have picked anybody. And that, man, maybe I'm on my soapbox, Slug, but Gideon, bro, he was hiding behind a wine press,
Yeah.
threshing wheat. Jesse, he was like, "Yo, I'm a nobody." He trying to hide what little bit he got from the Midianites, and he didn't even realize that he literally could put fear in his enemy just by if he just saw himself the way that God saw him. And when
That
the
part.
angel came, he called him what? He said, "You man of valor." He was like, "Bro, you
Yeah.
ain't talking to me.
Yeah,
I'm a
for real.
nobody. I'm least in my family. My family the least in the tribe." And he was like, "No, you a man of valor." And he did not see himself like God saw him. And bro, the fact that you just said what you said, it resonates with me, and I hope it resonates with everybody else out there that is a speaker that wants to preach, that feels like they called to be a minister. and they just don't feel like they worthy. They don't feel like they the TD Jakes, or they don't feel like they the Joel Osteens or whomever. I don't know. They don't feel like they add up or they measure up, not knowing that they God sees them so much more than what they see themselves. So much more.
Let me say this, bro. This is because I know we just got a few minutes stuff, but let me say this. I was looking I'm listening at him at Slugger talking about the transition and how he just had to come as he was, and that's the awesome thing that I need everybody to listen at. People be saying, after I do this, I'll come to God. Well, the problem is every time people say, after I do all these things, I'll come to God, they keep trying to do it and they ain't never succeeded. And usually when they do find themselves coming to God, they come with all that baggage. And God be like, man, give me your dirty hand. I'll deal with it. It'll be a royal flush when I get through it. You can't deal God a bad hand. You can't deal him a bad hand. So when I'm listening at my brother talk about that, I want him just to hit this area real quick. He said in 2020, depression strikes again. Youngest son and his girlfriend goes to jail. They get arrested, and police searched the home and found some marijuana there. Children get taken into his grandchildren get taken into child custody, and then on top of that, his mother passes unexpectedly. Bruh, this is somebody that done come to God, and it's still a whole lot of stuff happening.
Yes.
Minister Slugger, tell the people how you recalibrated. And then he said, I sought professional counseling. I sought professional counseling. Tell them how you recalibrated and how you constantly recalibrate with all of this coming at a man of God that still got to talk to the world, that still do street ministry. Your voice is on the radio. You're doing all these things. How do you balance that, my man?
Yeah.
Good question, bro. Truth be told, sometimes it seems like the balance is going to tip over. And sometimes, and during that particular period that you're talking about, the scale almost tipped over for me. Brother, this is going to sound cliche, but I made it through that time, that dark period. It was my faith, man. I mean, it was
why?
It was nothing else but my faith, because I lost my mom. Me and my youngest son, it was like our relationship had got lost at that time. Seems like I was losing my grandkids. They had got into the CPS system. And my marriage, I almost lost my marriage during that time, to be honest with you, because I was just not in a good space. And just when I was about to jump off the boat, that my faith, bro, was like, no, you can't do this. You know, I knew that was not the end of my story. I knew that God still had a plan and a purpose for my life, and I just needed to know, like, God, how do I navigate my way through this? What steps do I take? And that's when I was led to seek professional counseling. Now, I have a pastor that I can go and talk to. I got my brother Jesse that I can go and talk to. And we've talked, several times. And it's not that that they don't have what it takes, but for some particular reason, God took me in a different direction this time.
Yeah.
I've never sought professional counseling a day in my life. Never even thought about it. And so me and this particular counselor, we connected. And when I tell you, long story short, I knew it was God, because the healing that I received,
come on, man,
during that time, I went for grief. And after we dealt with the grief and we started unpacking some other things that I didn't realize that I was still dealing with. Again, that I talked about earlier, that residue. Because a lot of times we take a licking and we keep on ticking. And never stop to assess the damage that we've accumulated along the way on this faith journey. And so, and oftentimes as church people, because we don't like to seem weak, or we don't like to seem like, we don't have it all together, we sweep stuff under the rug. And the thing, what happens when you sweep stuff under the rug, eventually it's going to start stinking.
That's a fact.
Eventually, the dust is going to start showing. And so, yeah, for me, man, making it through that dark time, that was nothing but the grace of God. I had to eulogize my mother's funeral at that time, do her funeral arrangements, as well as, be there for my daddy, lead my sisters through that. And I was literally leading while I was bleeding,
Yeah.
but God. But I look back on, and that was in 2020. I look back on that situation now, and what it did was it added another layer of faith to my resume.
Come on, man.
If that makes sense, it gave me that much more fortitude.
Hold on 1 second. I want everybody to understand what he just said, because a lot of people, hey Jay, a lot of people think that faith is just a mustard seed, bro. There's levels to this.
There's levels to it.
There's levels to this.
Yeah. I caught that.
Y'all got to catch what he just said. There's levels to this.
But see, a mustard seed, it starts out as a mustard seed, but it doesn't stay a mustard seed.
It doesn't stay.
It grows into something bigger. Yeah. It's just like an acorn. An acorn, it doesn't stay an acorn, because when you plant it, it eventually becomes an oak tree.
Like an oak tree.
Yeah. And so it's levels to our faith. It starts out as a mustard seed, but eventually it has to bear fruit. And oftentimes, man, our faith is grown in those dark times. It's like plants. Plants not only need sunlight to grow, they need a period of darkness as well. They need sunshine and they need rain. Man, I like old school music, man. Because I was a DJ as well. My dad was a DJ, so I grew up in a house with music my whole life, man. And so Frankie Beverly Mays, the song that they have, Joy and Pain, there's a line in that song. He says, "Where there's a flower, there's the sun and the rain."
And the rain, yep.
In other words, what he's saying, this beautiful product that you see is the sum total of the sun and the rain. And if we are going to blossom into who God has called us to be in this thing called life, you got to have some sunshine and you got to have some rain.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Hey, this conversation, we coming around that 10-minute mark, man. We getting ready to wrap this up. Before we do, man, we don't want to forget. I want to go ahead and give a big salute to our premier sponsor, Brand Fluence. Big shout out to them, the Keynote Content Intensive Group. Understand this: it's not just about branding; it's about leaving a legacy. We're here to channel influence through your brand. Let's go. They have their first conference November 17th through the 19th in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Speakers Clubhouse, the Content Creators Clubhouse in Atlanta, Georgia, hosted and owned by David Shans. So big shout out to Brand Fluence. So yeah, man, this conversation is super dope. What I want to do, if you don't mind, I would like to ask you to please address or give some tips or some insight to what you did, transitioning from and let's just keep it real. You was wild, from the wild you to the disciplined, recalibrated you. What can aspiring speakers, anybody that's out there in the game right now, they're struggling with their speaking business, they're struggling with their personal life, not lining up with the conviction or with the calling that they think that God has given them, and it's just not calibrated, bro. That's a good word. Just I think
Mm-hmm.
we gonna call this recalibrated. What did you do? What did you do to get your personal to calibrate and line up with that conviction and that anointing that you felt like God gave you? How can they do the same thing to get their speaking business to take off?
Well, I can't. As far as their speaking business, I really can't speak on that because I'm still getting my speaking business off the ground.
Sure.
So I can't necessarily tell you how to have success in that. But for me, getting my life recalibrated, to be honest with you, bro, I just kept submitting to God, man. I just kept telling God yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I know that sounds, so broad or whatever, but as I think back over my life, bro, like, because during that time I had no one to really like take me by the hand and show me, hey, these are the steps. Bro, I was literally feeling my way through the dark because my pastor that I had at the time, um, trying to figure out a nice way to put this, but I had no guidance from him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I had to truly lean and depend upon God to show me the way. And then along the way, God would connect me with some other leaders that helped added some bricks, add some bricks, to the house that God was building. So I would say the first thing, man, you got to submit to God. You got to submit to His plan. You got to sell out. Number two, you do have to have some type of leadership in your life, someone that you can be accountable, whether it's coaching, mentoring or whatever. Someone that has been down the road that you are traveling down. You gotta have that. Otherwise, you're gonna be reckless. Otherwise, you're gonna stay undisciplined. And so when God introduced me to certain men of God in my life, um, it challenged me to tighten up some areas that needed to be tightened up. And so those two things were key for me, man. Just submitting to God, man, and then submitting to leadership.
Yeah, man.
Boy, that's strong.
Hey,
that's
man.
strong.
Hey, Jay, you've talked to me multiple times about this brother, man, and the fact, I keep hearing, you know what I'm saying? We was having our conversation. I kept hearing, Minister Slugger, and I was like, man, who this cat, Minister Slugger,
man? That's my dude, bro. That's my brother, man.
Yeah, man.
And I can't stress enough, man, how this brother Jesse has helped me along the way, man, because
Jesse different.
Yeah, he different, man. This brother here, man. I mean, he is a coach. He's a man's man. I tell him this all the time. He is a man's man, and this brother, having him in my life, man, has helped me a whole lot as well. So again, it goes back to just yoking up with someone, man, that you can be accountable to, man.
Absolutely.
Someone that can coach you in the areas where you're weak in, because it does no good. Here's the thing. I had the gift. I didn't know it. I had the gift to be able to speak, to be able to preach. But until I got under my pastor, Dr. Foreman, it showed me that you can be the greatest speaker in the world.
Yeah.
But if your character ain't intact,
it's trash.
It's null and void.
It's null and void.
Boy, come on, man.
It's null and void. It's like this live stream that we're doing.
Yeah.
If the audio and the video doesn't match up,
what they hear, what they see.
What
they see is different.
Bro. You know what I'm saying? And that's not that we're going, again, I want to stress this. It's not that we're going to be perfect. But for the most part, man, because I don't want to be, and my pastor will say this all the time. He said it does no good to be a public success and a private failure.
That is a fact. That's a fact, man.
And he would also say there's a high cost to low living.
Hey, hold up.
Ooh.
Hey, run that back, bro. Run that back. Run that
Man,
back.
my pastor would tell us all the time. He says there's a high cost to low living. And so
Good
just
money.
yeah, man, you know, so hearing that stuff, man, and again, it's not that I live a perfect life, because I don't.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't stress that enough. But having people like Brother Jesse in my life,
absolutely.
Having people like, you know, my pastor, Dr. Foreman, that I can get on the phone, man, and chop it up with, you know, it keeps me accountable, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
awesome, man. Bro, this was a very fulfilling conversation, Jesse.
Yeah, brother. Bro, you gonna have to come back.
Yeah,
because
we gotta do a round two.
Yeah, we gotta do a round two when your schedule permits, bro. Because this brother has some weight. He has some weight, and when I mean he got some weight, he's got some things to say that, man, I was getting chills just listening at where he's come from, because I could hear it in his voice, man. The conviction, the seriousness, and the passion and the love for where God has brought him from, man. I say it all the time. What y'all see now of me on video and social media platforms, I'm gonna just say it in short. This brother right here pushed me.
That's awesome, bro.
He pushed me, and
hey,
I'm gonna
bro,
leave it right there, bro.
We pushed each other, man. Like real
I feel
talk,
you,
man.
big dog. I feel you, big dog, and I love you, man.
Love you too, man.
Community. This is amazing.
Say, I know we about to go, but we need you to let everybody know where they can find you. All the different platforms you're on, bro.
All your platforms, yes.
All right. You can go to my website at ministerslugger.com, or you can follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, at Minister Slugger. That's MINISTERSLUGGER.
All right, man. That's that.
All right.
Hey, bro. Listen, you are the first. You about to kick off the inaugural 3 hot and a mic drop. We want you to take us out, man. Give the people something strong that they can munch on. Since we at the speakers round table, let them leave full, man. Just speak from your heart. Give the people something. You got 3 minutes to take us out, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one and only Minister Slugger.
To my brothers and my sisters out there, those that are trying to find your way through life, those of you out there that are trying to find your footing, trying to find out who you are called to be and what is your purpose in this life. You can't do that without consulting with the Creator himself. If something goes wrong with your vehicle, take it back to the dealership, because they know about the car, because they are the ones who created it. That brand maker. God is your brand maker. He knows what he has on the inside of you. And so don't you spend another minute, another day searching through any other thing, through another man, through another woman, through any other avenue besides your Creator himself. If you want to know who you are, go back to the source, is all I'm saying. He can tell you more about you than what your mama can tell about you. He can tell you more about you than what your daddy can tell you about you. Because although they gave birth to you, God was the one who gave you the purpose. Listen at what he told the prophet Jeremiah. He said, before I formed thee in thy mother's womb, I knew thee, I ordained thee, I sanctified thee a prophet unto the nations. That's intimate details. He's telling Jeremiah, listen, before your mom and daddy even got together, I knew who you were going to be, because I ordered you. And know that God has ordered you. Wherever you are, whoever you are, you have a purpose in this thing called life. Don't stop searching until you find it. But But you got to go back to the source. And that is God himself. I know the world is telling you that God is not the answer, but God will forever be the answer. God is the beginning. God is the end. God is the solution. Yes, we can read books. Google is helpful. Even therapists and professional counseling, it is helpful. But without going to connecting with the source, you will still feel a void in your life. Because God wants you to connect with him. And that purpose and that career that you're trying to get off the ground, maybe it's not getting off the ground because you haven't connected with your creator. Maybe it's not going to the level that you want it to go to because you haven't fully submitted to God. See, for some of us, submission is going to be required before we go to the next level. Everybody else may can take shortcuts. Everybody else may can do it a different way. But when God has his hand up on your life, when God has his mark on you, you got to do it God's way. Submit to him. And I guarantee you, you'll still change in your life. All the things that I wanted to do in my life that I was trying to do before I gave my life to God, I'm now doing it. Because I submitted my life to my creator. Now things ain't all good. It's all good because the creator makes it all good. Because all things work together for the good of them that love God and to the call according to his purpose. And that's what I rest in.
Yo, Minister Slugger got me over here slugging in my hey,
Woo!
eyes all watered.
Fire!
He took us home.
Fire!
Bruh, I appreciate
Fire!
you, man. That
Man,
was so
bro.
hard, bro. Thank you so much for pouring into the
y'all know y'all
man.
put me on the spot, huh?
Hey,
Bruh.
bro,
y'all know y'all put me on the spot.
You flexed it. You took us out.
Dog,
you took us out,
dog.
bro. And you got me in my feelings.
Dog, don't
you
you
got me in
worry
my
about
feelings, bro.
I know what I'm listening to on this side of it, brother. Trust me, bro.
Man,
people are gonna be blessed by that.
I'm trying to hold my I didn't take my glasses off, like,
brother. Say, man, that's the way we gonna leave our shows. That's how we leaving out these bad boys, bruh.
We need you to leave your stamp. We need you to leave your fingerprint and indelible mark, which you just did. For all the rest of you speakers that come through here, any other guests that come through, yo, the bar has been set. The bar has been set. This man took the inaugural, and rocked that beat, and
he inked that, man.
Yeah, and everything you said was so meaningful. I appreciate you, being willing to come through here and do this, man.
And I thank you guys, man, for being willing to have me on. It's an honor. It is a privilege, and so I just can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah, man.
Jesse,
man, we know you gotta say, man.
Well, actually, I'm good. So I got the text message that they running behind. So we good, man. So, but I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Let me tell you this, man. And we can get on to this another time. But all I want to say is, I'm grateful to God for knowing some solid men that's been through some stuff. That can help you through some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. And if you all listen at everything this brother said, man, he was in some mess, came to God as he was. God cleaned him up, and then he had to go through some other stuff. So don't ever think because you come to God, man, that the road is going to be easy. But one thing he did promise you, that he would never leave you nor forsake you.
Amen.
Yo.
And that's all this brother has said to us tonight. Through it all, he had to keep coming back to the creator. And the 3 hot and the mic drop, that's all he kept saying.
He just did it.
That let you know this is what that man believes and lives and breathes. And all I say is salute to my brother. I love you. You know how we rock, dog.
Yes, sir.
I love this man of God. I love this brother. Yeah.
Everybody that listen to us on Spotify, you can catch us on YouTube. We will have a link to the description. You can find us at the Authentically Real Podcast on YouTube. I'm your host, Big Kev. It's my sidekick, my brother, my mentor, JTM. We had your man, Minister Slugger, in the building, and we just laid that down, man. Thank you, guys. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all, and we will see you next time. It's your boy. Holla at your boy. Peace.
Salute.
Peace.